What is going on, Pokefans? Welcome back to Pet to the Pick. In today's video, we'll be looking at the Decidueye Inteleon deck list. Probably one of the worst decks that you can face in TCGO and also in some tournaments if you are playing a deck that is heavily loaded with Wii and Wii Max cards without a non-Wii attacking Pokemon, because if you don't have options to bypass the Decidueye once your opponent establishes the Decidueye with Deep Forest Camo ability into play, you pretty much have auto loss against it, because the Decidueye can prevent all damage done to it by attacks from opponents Pokemon Wii and Pokemon GX. Since Pokemon GX cards rotated out of the format, we only have Pokemon Wii decks. Let's talk a little bit about the Decidueye. When you see the Decidueye, and if you play a deck like a Zacian Wii, for example, with 2 Rangroos and Zamazenta, with 4 copies of Crystal Cave, my personal play against the Decidueye would be to put 2 air balloons on, let's say, 2 Zacians, and pretty much just play with 2 Zacians. And my play would be to use Resistance and also Crystal Cave, and when the Decidueye hits for 90, you simply switch to another Zacian. You reduce 30 damage by Resistance. You also heal 30 by Crystal Cave, so you only took 30 damage. With Inteleon, potentially the damage can be increased to up like 50. But then again, you took only 30 without Inteleon, and next turn you can simply retreat and then again also heal the damage. So you can buy some time, and you can just try to boss's orders your opponent, bench it Inteleons and simply knock them out. So you can try to maybe potentially stall and win by time, at least on TCGO tournaments where the matchups are like 25 minutes. If you play as a Wicton EV Max, you're probably just going to have auto loss, so there's going to be auto loss against the Decidueye. But if you play against Shadow Rider Wii Max, this matchup is actually 50-50, because they have Articunos, and also that Shadow Rider, they can put 5 damage counters on your Pokemons as long as you don't have that Big Parasol. If you're gonna play against Ludicolo Suicune, you can simply just Bird Keeper on those Loteds on the bench, so you can snipe them. And all you will really need are gonna be 1 Decidueye later, potentially 2, just in case if they somehow manage to establish that Ludicolo, but it's definitely not gonna be easy as long as you can just Bird Keeper Rowlet them. And also, Rapid Striker Shifu and Dragapult Wii Max are going to be the worst matchups. And I would even say that the Rapid Striker Shifu can be even worse matchup for you, because if Rapid Striker Shifu starts first, it can attach energy, and turn 1 you cannot evolve, and then they can turn to just, evolve and take 2 Rowlets out of the play. So if you don't have 3 Rowlets, you're probably going to lose, because you won't have a chance to set up that fast, especially if they can just simply play boss's orders on your next Rowlet that you try to put in play. And that's pretty much about matchups. Other matchups are going to be favorable, but then again, you will also need to have some skill and knowledge about the game and about how to play this deck, because it's definitely not going to be easy. I played personally by myself. I managed to finish the 5th place on yesterday's tournament, which was pretty decent result, and I made a couple changes so that can be even more better. So the changes that I made, I removed 1 Marnie. I played 4 Marnies. I didn't play Research, so I reduced his Marnie down to 3, and I also included 1 Research, and I also included 1 Dartrix, just in case if I hit those weaker walls, because if they manage to item lock me, I won't be able to simply evolve from Rowlet to Dartrix. But then if they want to one-hit knock out Dartrix without Inteleon, they will need to discard all 3 energies with Weak Volt second attack, or 2. Not quite sure if Wicavolt is hitting for 2 lightning energies, but it really doesn't matter. And then you are not item locked, so you can basically play Rare Candy for Rowlet into Decidueye. And once you put Decidueye in play, you're actually good to go, but still it's not gonna be GG, because Wicavolt will still probably just try to item lock you, where you will be in the trouble, and also Inteleon will be weak on that Wicavolt plays as well, which is also really bad. But as long as you can set up the Decidueye, you can try to, you know, hit for 90, 90, 90, and 3 turns will be enough for knockout, or maybe 2 turns with 1 Inteleon for that ping. Anyways, so this deck list plays 4-1-4 line of Decidueye. It also plays 4-3 2-1 line of the Sobble, Drizzile, Inteleon, and another Inteleon. So for the Pokemon search, I'm playing 1 copy of Quick Ball, 4 copies of Level Ball, and 4 copies of Evolution Incense. Why 4 copies of Quick Ball? Simply because sometimes you might be in a position to have an energy in hand in the Raihan, but you wouldn't have energy in your discard pile, so you can just try to shady dealings potentially into the Quick Ball, so you can activate that Raihan. Or reverse, if you have, for example, Energy Search in your hand, but then you need that Quick Ball because you're probably not gonna have Research in that case. Let's just say that as option. 1 Ordinary Rod, so we can recycle either way energies or Pokemons back into our deck. 2 copies of Scoop Up Net, sometimes 3 would be sweet spot. I would probably go into top 4 yesterday because I lost to the Weezing, because I only needed 1 Scoop Up Net to scoop my damaged Inteleon and I would win the game, but unfortunately I couldn't do it, and yeah, I lost the game. Because I only played 2 Scoop Up Nets. But I think that playing 3, you probably then just need to cut 1 Raihan in order to add 1 Scoop Up Net. Sometimes Raihan would be better, sometimes Scoop Up would be better, but I'm giving advantage to Raihan. 1 Turffield Stadium, 4 Bird Keepers, 2 Boss's Orders, 3 Marnies, 1 Research, and 2 Raihans. Raihan is a very good card for this deck. It's something like Rosa, but a little bit, I should say, better, because you can attach energy from discard pile and search the deck for any specific card that you need. So, but your Pokemon needs to be knocked out during your opponent's last turn. 2 Big Parasols, maybe even considering taking a 3rd one. Still not quite sure. 4 copies of Capture Energy and 5 Grass Energy cards. Potentially, tech cards could be a Tool Scraper and maybe 3rd Big Parasol, but I'm definitely considering about taking that Tool Scraper because it's a very good card. It can disrupt the Tool Jammer, and it can also remove those tools from stations, which will add them 50 HP, so they can be even more tankier. So this is the deck list that I will use in today's video. You're not gonna expect too much from the gameplay, unfortunately. Probably I'm just gonna have auto win or something like that because it's Decidueye and it's not gonna be too funny to watch. But still, you should definitely consider subscribing to the channel for more videos. And you can also check CCG Castle in case if you're looking for some of the Pokemon cards and products. Let's do some game tests so you can see how deck work in action. So see you in the game. One of probably worst matchups for the Decidueye deck is Rapid Strike Urshifu. Also a tough matchup is Decidueye facing Weezing, but that matchup can be actually in your favor. But also some other decks like Calyrex, Shadow Rider, and also decks like let's go with the full setup. We're playing versus Wictini, and also decks like Dragapult VMAX. Those matchups are actually really hard to win, but matchups like Wictini VMAX are not that hard. Simply because they're playing pretty much just the Wictini VMAX, and You can hit for like 90, 20, 20 and, you know, just spread the damage until you manage to win. Okay, so I'm gonna go with one copy of a Level Ball here, which will give me first Drizzile, and then I can put first Drizzile in play, which is probably gonna be for a Rare Candy, and then with Evolution Incense I can go for something like, maybe I can't, okay. Yeah, definitely need that Rare Candy for Decidueye. So I have energy for energy attachment, which is good. Additionally, I also have another Evolution Incense, which needs to be for that Drizzile. And since I have 2 copies of Inteleon in my hand, I think I'm probably just gonna go for a Level Ball, which can give me... Supporter would be nice. I can't use Raihan, unfortunately, but I'm probably just going to use Drizzile into... I need to draw some cards, so I will just use Marnie. I mean, I can just, you know, go for Energy Search and pass the turn, but I really don't want to do that simply because if he Marnie me, then I will just lose that Energy Search anyways. So yeah, right now it's really hard for Weakney to do anything against the Decidueye as long as the Decidueye stays in the front. Without something like Phoebe, whatever the name it is, he won't be able to go through the Decidueye. And he could try to maybe do some damage with Altaria, but nothing too special. But Altaria can also help him to get some boss's orders. And then again, the Decidueye can simply just, you know, block the VMAX decks like Weakney. So, in my opinion, if you are playing this type of the deck, where you are gonna face the Decidueye, especially on the big tournament where you can probably expect the Decidueye, you should consider tagging a card that can help you to win the matchup. But then again, if you let's go with another Marnie. But then again, you can just lose consistency against many other decks. So it's just, you know, let's say 50-50. Probably if you're not expecting too many Decidueyes, you should just, you know, ignore the Decidueye completely and not tech against it. But if you're playing on a tournament where you will probably face, like, let's say, from 600 decks, probably on Tomorrow Chill Series, there will be like, I don't know, maybe 10-15 Decidueyes. So there's a good chance that you might hit one of them, and if you play something like Weakney VMAX, you're gonna have, you know, pretty much auto loss against that deck. So yeah. So far so good. So basically that Swablu should be knocked out next turn. Only Altaria can help him to survive one more turn. So there's pretty much nothing. Rare Candy, which I cannot unfortunately use, but I can attach energy onto Inteleon. I decided to go with energy attachment to Inteleon just because I can hit for 140, and also potentially I can knock my opponent out due to the weakness. So if I want to knock this Weakney VMAX next turn, I'm probably just gonna need another Inteleon, but additionally also just Inteleon can work as well. So there is a Crushing Hammer, so he can just try to slow me a little bit. Again, what you can do against the Decidueye, if you face it with something like Victini, you can try to take one copy of Cheryl. So you can just take damage, and then just play Cheryl, retreat, and try to get a draw. And if you're playing with the Zacian against the Decidueye, you can do the same strategy, but just without Cheryl, with 4 stadiums, and the double air balloon. You can just avoid the Decidueye. Okay, so there's another Funnel Waves. Interesting. So second Funnel Waves in a row, which means that I can't use my Bird Keeper to Inteleon. But what I can do, I can just attach energy from hand, hit for 90, put 20 with Inteleon, and then next turn just put 20 more damage with Inteleon, so I can knock my opponent Victini VMAX out. So really boring matchup, nothing too much to learn here and see. All right. 90, 20, 20. And what we can do next turn, we can even use Boss's Orders into that Victini and VMAX on the bench. Hit it for 90. Oh, actually my opponent did me a favor by retreating his Victini VMAX on the bench, so I don't even need to spend that Boss's Orders, which is really good. And there is a Boss's Orders from his side of the field onto my Inteleon for the max victory. And the worst thing for the Victini VMAX is the fact that when you're playing Inteleon, you're not even in a position to one-hit knock out Inteleon. So that's even worse thing. Alright, so 3 prize cards for me. There is a Rowlet, Raihan, and Rowlet. We can toy a little bit with our opponent. We can go with the Bird Keeper, hit for free, draw 3 cards. We can go with something like Energy Attachment, and then we can hit for 60 his Victini on the bench, which means that next turn we can retreat and hit that Victini for 90, and potentially if we can find... Actually, we're not going to need to retreat, we will lose that Rowlet. But if we will be in the position to draw something like another Inteleon, we can put 4 damage counters on Victini, and then Boss's Orders for 90, and simply take the last 2 prize cards in the game. There's really no need to talk too much about the Decidueye deck. The Decidueye deck is a really boring and also annoying deck. And if you're looking forward to play something that's anti-meta, and if you're looking forward to play on a tournament and you're not sure what to play, you can always just grab the Decidueye and have some fun with it. But then again, deck is also not that easy to be played. You also need to think a little bit about some moves and some plays. Can we use Raihan? No, we cannot, unfortunately. But I'm just gonna hit for like 90, 20, 20. Still, that Inteleon works for me if he retreats and if I get it. So... And also, the Decidueye with 4 Bird Keepers and Baby Rowlet can also be very devastating for decks that are heavily relying on those baby Pokemons like Sobble and let's say Coughing into that Galarian Wheezing deck. Because you can simply use a Bird Keeper into Rowlet and snipe the bench for 60, which is so powerful in my opinion. So there is one Marnie. into Quick Ball and 2 Bird Keepers. So definitely I will try to, if he misses energy, game is over. But I don't see the point of the game. But I'm very thankful to my opponent that he actually didn't concede it. So I can at least talk a little bit about Decidueye. But this is pretty much a auto win against Inteleon VMAX. So there is a Raihan. Bird Keeper, yeah, the shady dealings Inteleon is unfortunately priced, so I can't get that Inteleon into play. But I will only need that quick shooting Inteleon for the snipe on the bench for 20. So first things first, let's use that Energy Search so we can thin the deck a little bit. Bird Keeper into another Decidueye. And there is Inteleon, so I can ping my opponent for 20 on the bench at Victini. And I can also hit Splitting Arrow for 90 to the active and 20 to both of the bench at Victinis. And yeah, overall, yeah, let's just take a closer look. Yeah, so 1-1 line of Swablu and Altaria for that supporter search. So unfortunately, you can't even power up Altaria. And then 4 for Victini VMAX. So Victini VMAX deck is pretty much built with energy disruption, with those crushing hammers and fun of waves mainly. And this deck has pretty much auto loss against the Decidueye. But the Decidueye deck is really good if you're looking forward to play something that will probably bring you some free wins, and if you are new to the game, so you can learn about some other decks and about some new mechanics and about the game as well. So anyways, thank you for your time and for watching this video. If you watched this video until the end, you should also please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the like, sub and notification bell so you don't miss any future video. Yeah, really annoying deck if you face it, but if you play it, you can have a lot of fun with it. And also you need to think about some plays and about some resource. What I should also probably consider tagging will be 1 copy of Dartrix, just in case if I face that Wickerbolt matchup, so I won't be able to evolve into Decidueye. So anyways, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoy watching it. Stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you next time.